Well, hello everybody. I'm here today in Strasbourg, and this is the last Strasbourg of this mandate. And I'm here with Peter Liese, who is a great colleague of mine. He's a German MEP from the CDU, part of the European People's Party, which I joined when I left the Conservatives, quite some time ago now. So I wanted, as part of our campaign for Europe, I thought it would be really interesting to hear the perspective from somebody, and particularly from Germany, because we know that Germany is a very strong, it's the biggest member state, it's a strong pro-European state. So let's ask Peter a few questions. He's very kindly agreed to be here with me, so thanks.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much, Peter. I just wondered, firstly, what in Germany, what's the perception of the ongoing Brexit debates, and particularly we Brits? How do Germans, has your perception changed?
Many people are frustrated that the House of Commons is not able to say what they want. They know what they don't want, a hard Brexit. There we agree, a hard Brexit would be a nightmare. But there's no majority for any solution. And we are frustrated, but we are also optimistic, because I think now there is the possibility, at least, that the United Kingdom stays inside the Union. And that is a big majority opinion in Germany, that Europe is stronger with the United Kingdom, and the United Kingdom is stronger with the European Union. So we want you to stay. Our hearts and our arms are open. There are some technical issues to overcome if you stay, but These are tiny problems compared to the problems of Brexit. So the common sense, the market-orientated policy that the British colleagues bring, especially you and Richard Ashcroft in the EPP group, they are more than welcome. We benefit a lot from your work, especially in the committee. We work together in environment, health and food safety, and we need people that have an understanding and have a pragmatic view. So we have too many extremists from the far left or from the far right, and this pragmatic British approach we desperately need.
Of course, you also get some of our extremists as well, particularly people like Mr. Farage. I mean, over the years, when you're sitting in the European Parliament as a hard-working, serious MEP, do you not get fed up listening to the British extremists?
It is frustrating, but, you know, I just don't listen to them.
Yes.
So I work on the content, and there I have some pragmatic Labour people which I can work with, but they are frustrated with Corbyn because he's a left and he's an anti-European. So I'm very optimistic that the Brits vote for a pragmatic pro-European party, and that brings a good spirit of cooperation. And I'm really convinced it is good for Germany, it is good for the United Kingdom when we work together inside the European Union.
So do you think the German government maybe would be supporters of a second referendum in the UK?
Of course, we will not interfere in British politics. But when there is any doubt in the UK that Germany or the European Union as a whole doesn't want the United Kingdom to stay in the European Union, this is not justified. We will make any effort possible if you need a second referendum. I'm very happy, but the decision has to be done by the people in the UK, and maybe the European election will give a hint in this direction.
Well, sometimes the narrative in the UK is around saying, you know, we're being controlled by Germany, and the Germans they want us to stay under their control, and I never get that impression. I always get the impression, as you've said, that actually member states don't interfere in other member states' domestic politics. So it's really, I very much welcome the opportunity to give my voters the understanding that Germany has no intention of keeping the UK under its thumb.
No, not at all. We want to work together when we have cross-border problems, and I think in the European Parliament, some other member states, of course, have the problem that their members are not so hard-working. British and German MEPs are hard-working, always well-prepared, and this is of course, not true for the extremists. They only want to create chaos. They don't work on the content. But of course, people that know their stuff, like you, and maybe some of the German colleagues, they have more influence in the European Parliament than those that just have a speech to be populistic, to be received at home. So we both have, I think, some influence, but that is because we look at the files and we are present in the meetings.
Yeah. So do you have many Brits living in your region in Germany? Have you spoken to many about it, or?
Yeah, in my constituency there are not so many, but there are some. They are very concerned. They feel very unsafe, and they want the decision for the Brexit to be returned, because especially for people, Germans in the UK, British in Germany, and there are much more in other parts. You know, I have a rural constituency. I think in cities like Düsseldorf, Berlin, Cologne, there are many more, and they want to have this free movement for themselves. And to be against free movement is not only a problem for Polish that want to go to the UK, it's also a problem for British that live in Germany.
Sure.
And you always have to see both sides of the coin.
Yeah, and we all benefit from the right for free movement. It's sometimes seen as for people who are perhaps on the lower end of the economic scale, etc. But actually, all of us benefit from being able to. It's a right that I have, which is going to be taken away by Brexit, which I feel, and I know a lot of my constituents feel really strongly about. The old adage is, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And now we're contemplating losing it, then it's difficult for us to contemplate that. So just maybe to finish, we know each other because we work so much together on the Environment Committee, and I just wanted to maybe mention climate change in particular, because it's an area that I've worked on a lot, and we both, I think, share the view that in order to make really strong progress on climate change, one has to move in appreciable steps, but not revolution, but evolution. And I just wonder if you might share perhaps your views on that, because we do have in this election coming, particularly from the Greens and the Socialists in the UK, demands for taking much stronger action and much more quickly. And I personally am not necessarily in tune with that. I want to take action, but I wonder how you see it.
Yeah, I think all the issues where we work together, not only environment but also health, are a good example that together we can achieve more. When just one more sentence on the free movement. There are many doctors that work part-time in the UK, part-time in Germany.
We should have mentioned that you were a doctor, actually.
I'm a doctor myself, yes. And, you know, if we cut it in between and say you have to decide to go to the UK only or to Germany only, I think we will lose their power, their capacity, and it should be possible if people prefer to be part-time here, part-time there. It's maybe the best choice also for the patient. So there will be a lot of problems also in the healthcare system. But on climate change, I think first of all, it is an issue. We need to do a lot, and also I think we need to do some more. We both worked on aviation, so we have only 15% of the credits that for pollution that the airlines have to pay for. We both argued for more responsibility and more support for the environmental friendly mode of transport. But the perception that Europe has done nothing, that the Greens are telling us and part of the socialists, it's just not true. We are the only big economy in the world that has a target that is ambitious, 40%. There's no big economy that has a more ambitious target for 2030. And we have already agreed the legislation. You were part of it as a rapporteur for the most important file, emission trading. Emission trading is working now. It's giving a lot of incentive. And we are overachieving our Paris commitment. So we may be carefully even advancing this, but we cannot accept that somebody says we achieved nothing. We both were in the meeting when Todd Stern, the climate advisor of President Barack Obama, was in the committee, and he said Europe was the main ingredient for the Paris Agreement. Without the European commitment, the work at home and the international work, we wouldn't have a Paris Agreement. So let's be careful in saying only Europe must do more. We are not a good example for China, India and other economies when we have so strong targets that our economy breaks down. So then we have no emissions but no industry.
Yeah.
And we need to set an example. That's why we are for an ambitious climate strategy, but not as ambitious that we kill all the industry.
Exactly.
And today in the Parliament we voted for the new research program, and I think that is the right way forward. Research and innovation, for example, we want to create a CO2-free steel plant. That is the way forward. Then others will follow us, not to destroy the industry, but to innovate and bring new technologies.
Yeah. Well, I think people don't know enough about what we do in Europe. So thank you very much for illuminating us, and a great positive note on which to end. And I look forward, I hope that your election campaign is successful and that you're re-elected, and I hope that I'll be able to join you. So thank you. It's been a real pleasure working with you.
It was a pleasure, and it will be a pleasure if we can continue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.